We shall commence second part of this session, charting the future of exploration, Saudi Arabia-led vision to attract and empower junior explorers. Under Vision 2030, our esteemed panel members represent the future of exploration in the Kingdom. We have with us Ines Scotland, Executive Chair of Meadowbank, Bill Brodie-Good, Chief Executive Officer of Power Arabia, and Christian Milor, Chief Executive Officer of Saudi Discovery Company. Welcome to you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernadette.
I'm going to shed a bit of light on each of your companies for our audience, and then ask each one of you to answer the following question. What initially motivated your company to set its sights on Saudi Arabia? Starting with Meadowbank. Listed on the ASX, runs a traditional exploration business model with a portfolio of projects in Jordan and Australia. More recently acquired its first exploration project through Tender Round 6 and plans on acquiring additional projects. Ines, Saudi Arabia is by no means new to you. Back in 2006, you co-founded and was CEO of Citadel Resources. In 2007, and for a modest sum of money, Citadel acquired the Jabal Sayid copper project, advanced the project, and in 2010, the company was taken over by Equinox for $1.2 billion. Today, Jabal Sayid is owned and operated by joint venture partners Martin and Barrick Gold. Top of mind for me is Ines and a highly experienced team here to repeat history or to beat it? On that note, Ines, what initially motivated Meadowbank to set its sights on Saudi Arabia?
Thank you, Bernadette. Well, as you say, we were here in the mid-2000s where we explored, developed the Jabal Sayid project. We actually managed to do a JORC resource, a pre-feasibility and a bankable feasibility study in less than 5 years. We increased the market capitalisation of our Australian listed company from about 10 million to, as you say, our takeover price was 1.35 billion, and we managed to do that in 5 years. So I can't see any possible reason why we wouldn't want to come back and do that all again. We've had fantastic support from our joint venture partner, who we continue now to joint venture with. Obviously, the ministry has been amazing. The changes in the ministry, the personal touch, the streamlining, the systems, the exploration incentives, I think they're going to be a fantastic thing for the Kingdom, not just for junior explorers like ourselves, but to be able to provide better geological information by doing deeper drilling and getting people into the Kingdom and thinking about different sort of technologies and mechanisms where we can discover some of these deeper deposits like the IOCGs and porphyries, which really have not yet been discovered in any major way in the Kingdom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Power Arabia, represents one of several subsidiaries of Power Metal Resources, an AIM-listed company that runs a successful incubation model, taking projects through exploration, development, and crystallization, or as we like to call it in capital markets, liquidity event. Quite like the merchant banking model, with a diverse global portfolio of projects, has been involved in over 17 commodities, 17 jurisdictions, making 8 discoveries. Power Arabia has interests in 2 Saudi projects and is working on growing its portfolio of projects. Bill, you have over 30 years of global exploration experience, including experience in the region. Please share with us Power Metal's motivation to set its sights on Saudi Arabia and establish a new division, that is Power Arabia, which they have tasked you to lead.
Well, thanks very much, Bernadette. And I think almost to go back to what Ines just explained, how her success a few years ago is part of the driving force as a junior explorer, because everyone wants to replicate their fantastic success. That you start with a piece of ground that either has never had any work done on it or has some geological signs of great potential, and with accurate and cost-effective exploration, you make a discovery that then becomes a significant new resource for example, here in the Kingdom. And linked to that, you have Vision 2030 and beyond, where the country is looking to find its own resources to develop both downstream, but have the raw materials to then be able to develop the industry. Being a geologist myself, as Bernadette mentioned, I had experience of working in Saudi Arabia many years ago, and it was always a region of huge interest as a geologist, highly underexplored in terms of the very rich potential of the mineral belt, the Arabian Shield. And with the recent development, the infrastructure's incredible for moving teams around the country. The security is better to none, really. It's one of the most secure and safe environments to be working in the current world we live in. And the opportunity for the potential for very different commodity discoveries is really one of the few places left really on the planet where we have that opportunity to get on the ground and make some new discoveries. And I should say also, with the support of the government, the Ministry of Industry and Minerals, the growth of the system, the new mining code, all these factors contribute to leading this development and growing our portfolio and being part of something, probably one of the most exciting areas, geographic areas on the planet in terms of exploration, early stage exploration, to hopefully contribute to the third pillar of the Kingdom.
Thank you, Bill. Finally, Saudi Discovery Company, a privately held company, and as the name suggests, is focused on the exclusive acquisition and exploration of Saudi Arabian projects. The company was set up by a group of highly successful mining entrepreneurs with significant experience in taking projects from grassroots to mine discoveries. The team also led multiple world-class mining projects from discovery to production. The company owned 4 Saudi exploration projects. Saudi Discovery was the first foreign junior mining company awarded 100% ownership of exploration licenses in Saudi Arabia. The company was awarded 4 exploration licenses in 2024 and is applying for up to 10 licenses through new open ground applications and auctions. Saudi Discovery has ambitions to also potentially list on the Saudi Stock Exchange. Christian, please share with us what initially motivated you to enter the Kingdom.
Yeah, thanks, Bernadette. And there's probably 3 things that come to mind for me. And one stems back from the last 10 or 20 years. The team that I'm working with, they were working on the other side of the Red Sea in the same geology, had 2 world-class discoveries in Eritrea, and have been salivating at coming to Saudi Arabia and waiting for the broader business environment to open up for mining. And they'd made various visits, and they're just as excited about the geology. And then also, I think about 3 years ago, the founders of our group were here at FMF, and I wasn't here at the time, but they came back and said, you have to come to Saudi Arabia and check out what's happening there. And I just feel the buzz of the growth, the activity in this conference, and I don't think there's a conference like this in the world right now that has such a buzz around and curiosity of what's going on, and everyone's asking what's happening there. I get calls all day long about it. Should I come? From all different parts of the world. And then the third thing was, just generally, it's widely open for business now for mining. And I tell you, I've worked in so many jurisdictions over the last few decades, and most of them are not open for mining in the way that Saudi Arabia is. It's very difficult. A lot of people don't want mines, they want the metal, and it has to have mining that comes with it. And Saudi Arabia is asking for 10 new mines. Name another country that's asking for 10 new mines. So we're excited. It's a really exciting time to be here, and actually I'm glad to get to know Ines here. She's got historical experience.
Thank you, Christian. Now I'm going to ask you each a question, and the rest can contribute, but I'll direct it at one of you. So to you, Bill, the opportunity in today's mining sector in the Kingdom is yet to be fully understood by financial investors. If you were addressing your investors, how would you explain that Saudi is the place to be today?
Thanks for the question. And obviously, key for exploration is investment. Exploration is an expensive exercise, but of course the risk is worth the reward on discovery. From the investor point of view, this is, as I think we're all saying, Saudi Arabia is open for business, and it is highly underexplored with huge potential from both precious and industrial minerals, obviously, and there's opportunities that really aren't really available in many other parts of the world. And in terms of now the new mining code, and I think that is constantly developing now with the encouragement and the influx of foreign companies and local companies developing their skill sets. This is really an opportunity for everybody to get involved, put some solid investment in, and then reap the rewards on the other side. Now, I'm an explorer. We don't profess to be miners, but we're key to the chain, because we need to go out and do that early stage, find those new deposits, and then you have the skill sets of Ines and Christian's teams to then take those to the mining level. But as from our investors, they want us to get out on the ground and doing what we do best, and to obviously start with a blank canvas, and one discovery, two discoveries is a significant value add.
Thank you, Bill. Ines, Christian, did you have anything further to add to that?
Not a lot further. I think really when we look at a situation like this, you probably look through your criteria and your list of key items to tick off, and you hope that sort of 50, 75% are there. I have to admit at the moment I've probably got 10 or 12 key criteria, and I could rattle those off, and they're probably all got a tick beside them. And it's very rare right now that you find that. And I think a lot of things that Bill mentioned, but just stability, vision, long-term nature of the thinking going on right now. And that isn't very common right now. Politics is changing everywhere in the world, and it changes fast. What we need is stability and a runway to actually build our business. Mining's a risky business, and we need as much around us to be stable so we can, for the future.
I think from our perspective, being a listed company on the Australian Stock Exchange, investors have the attention span of a small child. So if you don't deliver quickly, they absolutely move on to the next shiny object. So our focus, and what is definitely being allowed here and facilitated here in the Kingdom, is to get things done quickly. I always say if we have to have a HR manager, we've completely lost the plot. We need a team no more than 20 people, and we need to get in and out and do that in 5 to 6 years. And that means throwing everything at it and progressing quickly. So when I talk to our investors, and I call them our long-suffering shareholders, because although we make share price gains, we've actually never had an operating profit. I just say to them, you've got to trust me. We'll be in and out of there in 5 years and you'll get your money back.
That's a great strategy. Thank you, Ines. The mining sector under Vision 2030 is still relatively young. What do you see as the competitive edge of early entry, Ines?
Really, I don't think it matters when you enter. I mean, some people think, okay, first mover advantage. There are advantages to coming a little bit later because the geological information's built up, there are more service providers, there are endless opportunities in the Arabian Shield. It's so underexplored, say, compared to a region like Australia. So I think, it's great to be at an early enter, but I think you can enter in the mid-tier and also at the end of not the end of the cycle, but towards a more developed part of the cycle, because there are so many available projects at different stages from early exploration through to operation.
That makes sense. Thank you. Gentlemen, did you have anything to add?
I think no, I very much agree with that. But people feel maybe to get in early stage, you might get the pick of the crop in terms of ground. However, as Ines just said, and I think we all agree, there is so much unexplored ground here. I mean, huge surface area, and also, again, with competition for services, for drilling rigs, for geophysical work, etc. There's no real. It's always nice to be on the ground early and be one of the sort of pioneers, but which we're in. I think we're all enjoying that to a point, but also we sometimes get those stumbling blocks, and we have to we learn those that might get ironed out for the next stage of people. But I think there is still excellent opportunity going forward for the next several years, I think, in the exploration space anyway. So it's good. It's great for us to be here, I think, but I think there's obviously room for others to join, hopefully.
Maybe I can just add to that. I think I feel a little more sense of urgency, and we got out and drove probably 30,000 kilometers in the first 2 years, even before our licenses. We just felt that we really needed to get out and see the land, be first if we can at looking at projects, and hopefully get the best projects that we really have the greatest potential.
At the moment, the Kingdom has rolled out the red carpet. At many other jurisdictions, we have red tape. In terms of first mover advantage in this climate and with all the government support, do you think that may change in 5-10 years' time once the market is very crowded? From a first mover advantage perspective, I mean, that's something.
I suppose if I can just, I think the key is if the management of the processes, the management of the licenses by the ministry, the monitoring of people getting on and doing the work is well maintained and continues to grow and develop. I think continuation will be fine, will work properly, rather than getting a bit too sort of crowded and people tumbling over each other.
Yeah.
So I think we all hope that we can get on and do our thing and do the work we want to do to that point for an exit or a different strategy, with continued support from the government and the ministry.
Yeah, I think all systems evolve and they change and become different over time. But if the companies that are exploring today, like we are, if we are committed to our social licence to operate and really mean what we say when we applied, particularly through the auction rounds, that we are going to develop local talent and work with local groups and help local businesses. You know, the rule of thumb for mining is every one job that you employ directly in mining, at least another 7 to sometimes 10 other jobs are provided through being service providers, education, health, welfare, across the board. And so I think if we are really committed to that, then there'll be a natural evolution to the industry which will become long-lasting.
Makes sense. Thank you. Christian?
Or can you hear me? Yep.
Christian, so no doubt all ventures and adventures have their challenges. What have your companies been to date in Saudi, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, I have to admit, I find that the challenges are less than I've experienced in many other places. But one of the things that we experienced, I think, early days was just a bit of a feeling that expectation was for large companies to make discoveries here. And I think it's critical that the junior resource industry is supported, financed, and actually given a shot at making those initial discoveries to attract the capital, to attract the large companies as well. And I think it's been a really interesting dialogue and back and forth going through the processes on permitting, and the ministry is really actually taking all that thinking into account, and we've found that very proactive. And I think it's going to be setting it up for a great future. So I'd say it's a challenge, but it's actually something that's being listened to and adapted, and that's really critical. And I think the other thing is just getting here on the ground, and I had a conversation with the deputy minister early days, and he said to me, just come here, learn the culture, get to know people, build relationships, be present, and be active. And I think with that respect and coming into a new country where we were present before, I think it builds a huge foundation. And so I think it's a challenge, but I think it's very easy to overcome if you just put the effort in.
Okay. Anything further to add to that?
No, I think Christian covered
Yep.
very well.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian. We won't do Q&A. I think we'll continue with these questions. Is that... No more? Okay. All right. So we've run out of time. I hope this has shed some good light on understanding how companies, explorers entering the kingdom, what their motives are, what their objectives are, and how they have been navigating business in Saudi. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the panel. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bernadette. Thank you.
Thank you.